Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is your Woman of Sparkle. My name is Mwinde Sinkala. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch this video. Well, I am back with another exciting video, and today's topic, as you might have seen from the title of this video, is the advice that you need. This also could be the advice that you need, that you didn't know you needed, or just the advice that you needed. So thank you so much for tuning in to watch this video. I know that you'll be blessed and you have a wonderful time. Okay, so this is the advice that you need. And the advice that you need, as you might have guessed, is that you need advice. Everybody needs advice, and the right kind of advice. There's so many places and people where you could get advice from, but you'd have to be deliberate about the advice that you're getting, even the advice that you're giving. And so this is what I want to mainly talk about in this video. And I really want to make it as short as possible, very summarized, and that you'll be able to get something from this video. Well, I want to begin with a number of scriptures. And so today I'll begin from Proverbs chapter 24 verse 6, and I'll read these scriptures from the English Standard Version. So let's start with Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 6. Okay. Proverbs 24 and verse 6 from the ESV, and the Bible reads, "For by wise guidance you can wage war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory." For by wise guidance you can wage war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory. I'll also read Proverbs 19 verse 20. Proverbs 19 verse 20. Just hold on for that one. Okay, here we go. Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 20. Okay, the Bible reads again from the ESV. "Listen to advice and accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom in the future." Amazing. That's a beautiful scripture there. And the last one I'll read from Proverbs chapter 15 verse 22, again from the ESV, and I'll read, "Without counsel plans fail, but with many advisors they succeed." Without counsel plans fail, but with many advisors they succeed. So I have a few pointers today. And so with the pointers that I have, number one is that you need advice. From the scriptures that we've just read, we understand that you can have plans, and you can plan to do so much, or you can have an idea. But in those ideas that you have, you will need guidance and advice. And from the scriptures we've just read, we understand that with many advisors, you can succeed. And the other scripture says that in abundance of counselors, there is victory. So everybody needs advice. In whatever field, whatever it may be, you need advice. There's so many people who would like to do things, which is quite great. It is important to do things, let me say, in quiet, in secrecy, and then maybe be so loud about the results that you've attained. But you know, there's certain plans that you have. Of course, you do not have to announce to every person, but you will need counselors, and you will need advisors, and good advisors at that. Within the course of this video, I'll share with you what it means to, get good advice, and what it means to also have bad advice, because we can't run away from the fact that there are people who are so swift in giving advice without even thinking about what they're saying. They're just so free to open their mouth and say whatsoever they want to say in advising somebody, but without really taking consideration of the consequences of the things they're telling somebody to undertake. So the number one thing you have to understand is that you need advice. You need, in any given area, there's always people who have gone ahead of you. There's always people who have done what you have already done. Sometimes even people who have not done what you have done. For instance, a pastor is able to give you guidance, is able to advise you, in things finances, let me say, in things business, in things marriage, everything. He's able to guide you. Why? Because he's been given the wisdom from the Lord. So you need advice. Don't be that loner person and say, I got this figured out. Even if you have it figured out, your life will be much simpler. The things that you will do be much simpler when you simply go to the people that have already done what you are about to do or what you embark on doing. The second point is that from the first point I said that you need advice. The second point is that you need godly counsel. You need godly advice. It's not every advice that you have to take. There's a story in the book of First Kings, should be First Kings chapter 12, which it's a very good story. I would advise you to go and study it, and I know that you will learn so much from that portion of scripture. But in First Kings chapter 12, there's a story of the son of Solomon, who was Rehoboam. And so, when he became king, Israel and, Israel, the people of Israel went to him. And, they told him that, your forefathers were so harsh on us. Their yoke was too tough on us. And so they asked him, that he makes the burden lighter. And if he makes the burden lighter, there will be his servants throughout, all the time. They will forever be his servants. Okay, and so when they asked of him this favor, he told them, come after 3 days and I'll be able to give you an answer. And so when he took these 3 days off, he went to the elders, he went to the older men and asked them what he should do. And so they told him, make their burden lighter. And if you do so, these people are going to be your servants. If you become their servants, first of all, they're going to be your servants for a very long time. They're going to be your servants forever. And so, they gave him this counsel, and, he decided not to take this advice. So the next thing he did was to go to his friends, the people he grew up with, and ask them, the same question. And they told him, make their burden even tougher than what your forefathers did. But can you imagine? Look at this advice they were giving him. When you look at these two, the older men, they were advising him. His friends were also advising him. But when you look at this advice that his friends were giving him, and if you read the entire chapter, you understand that it got him into trouble. That, instead of being a king of the entire Israel, he became king of only one tribe. And, it caused a lot of confusion, war, and, he should have taken the advice of the older men. But you know what he did? He went and got advice from, people who are not even experienced, who didn't even know, the people that he grew up with, who didn't even know what they were talking about. Obviously they were just using emotions, excited about power, and so on and so forth. So it is very important where you get your counsel, where you get your advice from. It is very, very important. And then the third one, which I've already incorporated in the second point, which is shun evil advice, run from evil advice. Like I said, the people who are so, the people who are so excited about, when you go to someone and ask for advice, it's not a must that they have to advise you. It's not a must that they have to give you counsel. If the person is not sure of what they're supposed to say, it's better they just keep quiet, refer you to somebody else who can help you. Unlike, forcing matters, trying to find something to just say so that, they say, okay, she said something, he said something. It's not a must that, these people always have to say something. If they don't have something to say at that time, it's best they refer you to somebody else. Or better still, just tell you upfront to say, you know what, I have no expertise in this kind of business. I have no idea. I have never done this before. That is good advice. From there, somebody will be able to find somebody else who will be able to give them the right information. So run away from bad advice. Run away from getting advice from all over. I've seen on social media, people who have embarked on, giving advice, nuggets about life. But, most people just say those things for the sake of saying them. and they actually don't do it. Run away from people who advise you to do something that they themselves cannot do. Run away from such kind of people, because they will lead you in a ditch. Like, the story I'm just from narrating. These friends told him that, he should make the people of Israel's burden yoke much, much more tough than the forefathers. And look at where it landed him. So run away from evil advice. Run away from people who will just hype you into doing something that they themselves know very well that they will not do. So run away from such kind of advice. And the fourth thing I want to talk about when it comes to advice is be careful the advice that you're giving people. Equally yourself, the advice you give, you give an account of the words that come out of your mouth. So, be very careful when you are advising someone. My pastor says that advice is very spiritual. If someone came to you with a challenge and you know nothing about it, you don't know what to do about it, pray about it. Seek the Lord's counsel at that time. And if you don't know what you're supposed to do, refer the person to somebody else. It's not a must that you have to tell somebody. Sometimes when someone comes to you for advice, ask for some days, ask for some time to also seek clarity before you just say something that is going to lead someone into trouble. So, it is somebody's life that is being, talked about at that moment. So you can't afford to just open your mouth and say things carelessly, say things you don't even understand. Ensure that even as you give advice, it is sound, it is godly, and it is going to give someone good guidance, and in turn and in the end that person is going to be helped by your advice. Don't just be too quick to open your mouth to advise somebody. Advice is very diverse. You can't just base your advice on one simple experience that you've had, and you want everything, your belief system to be around that just one experience that you've had. No, there's more to life, there's more to learn. So be very careful with what you tell people to do. Before you tell somebody what to do, think about it. Would you yourself do it? Would you be happy to do what you're telling somebody to do? Would you attain the results that you're promising this person that they would attain? So be very careful with the advice that you're going to give to anybody. Okay, be very careful. Be very careful. So I think this is all that I wanted to share for today. This is the advice that you needed, that you didn't know that you needed. So let me say thank you so much for tuning in to watch this video. Please do like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you're not yet subscribed. And thank you so much for tuning in. This is your Woman of Sparkle. Bye-bye for now.